I've honestly been looking forward to any news regarding Guild Wars 3, and today we have it, but we have it in an interesting way. Hostile NC shareholder meeting reveals that ArenaNet is working on Guild Wars 3. So if you are like me and have been hoping that this is what the ArenaNet devs have been hinting at this entire time, well, I think we're in luck. Now, there is no ETA on when we might see this game come to fruition. However, just the fact that this got confirmed in the most humorous of ways is exciting for me to see. But let's go ahead and jump into the article. There's a few key moments that I want to call out that I've got highlighted here to kind of show you. We can talk about it. I'd love to hear your thoughts about Guild Wars 3 because this has me crossing my fingers for console and controller support native built into the foundation, that we could see some of the newest technology, cloud and all the different different updates that have happened since they launched Guild Wars 2 within the MMO space. I think ArenaNet could really have both a unique spin, but I think what we saw with Guild Wars 2, I love Guild Wars 2. I always enjoy when I come back to Guild Wars 2, but you know, like I keep always stepping away, and I think there's just a few things that I personally would like to see. But anyway, let's kick it off. Guild Wars 3 has been a common conversation question that we've seen over the last couple years. It's awesome that ArenaNet is doing different expansions, and I actually have bought the Dragon expansion. I haven't played it yet, so there's still plenty for me to do in Guild Wars 2. But here's what's interesting. The flagship Throne of Liberty, which is not yet in the global market, has underperformed in Korea. And last quarter, they tried to basically convince the investors that the global audience was its real target, with kind of the setup that other companies are doing this everywhere, so it's perfectly fine. So here we are another quarter into this, and still they do not have any kind of update regarding their revenue. And if I was going to put myself in the investor kind of portfolio right now, I don't own NCSoft, but if I was one of those investors, I would also be frustrated. Like, how is this game performing? What are our plans to make it perform? Anyhow, they go on to say, they were asked, why has the board not fired the head of the NC West? Because NC West has been running a deficit for 8 years. Now, this is where they end up making the announcement, and they say they are currently working on Guild Wars 3. So the money for NC West, all of that is being funneled in through ArenaNet, who is making Guild Wars 3. So I'm sure they were wanting to plan something, but if nothing else, cat's out the bag. We know that that is something that's happening and moving on, and that's why they've been running a deficit, is because they're spending that capital expenditure in order to make this game, which is what I think a lot of people are looking forward to and really wanting to see. But it's also this is also interesting as it relates to Throne Liberty, which does make it sound like with 2 consecutive quarters where they have not reported on its financial earnings, that they are banking on this game from a global market release, which I would say isn't necessarily the best sign. I'm looking forward to playing Throne of Liberty. I enjoyed what I played of the game from the Korean version, but yeah, that's where we are. I'm excited to see where it goes, but it's also, I think, going to be more on the niche side with this heavily focusing on PvP kind of content. But for PvPers, I think that's going to be huge. Anyway, so this is not a great showing for NCSoft here. That's what the article reports to, and I'll make sure I include a link to that. Massively overpowered in this case. But also, one thing I'd like to call out is that rich men are very angry when they are slightly less rich. That, it feels like a broke person's view of what rich people are. No, like, you do not need to be broke. You do not need to be poor. But you have to deprogram yourself from the lies that are being told to you. And so a big part of what I like to always remind people of is the best way you can start building your wealth and actually not necessarily be a rich man, but be financially independent and not subject to all the chaos of the world. Pay off your debts. The biggest lie is that debt is a tool, and it catches so many people, and that's when they become bitter and angry and frustrated that there are people out there who don't have to struggle like they do. You don't have to keep struggling. If you need help, I highly recommend Dave Ramsey. He helped me pay off over $100,000, and that in and of itself has allowed me to experience true freedom in this life. And so I would hopefully encourage you guys to do it. I wanted to call that out because the article made that. That's definitely, in my mind, very defeatist in that mindset. Who cares if people are rich? Rich people make games, and then we get to play them. You too can also become a rich person if you want. Anyhow, the fact is that ArenaNet's working on its 5th and 6th expansions for Guild Wars 2, I think is promising. So, guys, if they are able to deliver, like I said, controller support, console support, it would just, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think when you look at how Guild Wars 2 is now, it's great that they're adding in these expansions for that player base that's hungry. And I think them making a 3rd one allows them to do so much more from the ground up. And yeah, as long as they continue to invest in that, it's exciting to see the Guild Wars is finally getting consistent expansions. And financially, I hope that's doing real well for them. But clearly, they're also spending a lot of money making Guild Wars 3. But that's the news. That's the information. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts. We'll be sure to keep you guys up to date on anything Guild Wars 3 related in future videos. But anyway, guys, thank you for your time today. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully I'll see you next time. But until then, take care.